We can't see your board.
Oh, that's because I hadn't sent it. I'm sorry. My bad. There we go. It should be coming to you in a few seconds. Give it a second. Maximize your screen so you can see it. Or are you going to pull it over to the right? That's fine. Okay, Oconee, can you see my whiteboard?
Yes.
Okay, now first of all, I want you to draw a BA graph. Okay, I'm just gonna draw the first quadrant. And I'm going to draw a curve. Now, I'm giving you a lot right here because I'm showing you the difference quotient, and I'm also showing you what you're going to be going over in your first unit of calculus. Now, somebody tell me how it switched. I drew this line. Y'all with me? I drew this line with a straight line. I come back and draw a straight line, and it switched widths, and I didn't do it. It's a conspiracy.
I think you know that.
Let me do it again. There we go. And draw a straight line through those 2 points. Now, you got a point here, and I want to draw a dotted line, but it's going to have a fit. One day I'll get training and I'll learn how to draw a dotted line straight. I have to stand away from the board because when you stand close to the board and you have your arm in the way, I found out that that's when the dotted line goes crazy. I guess it picks up your elbow or whatever. All right. Now, this is X. And this is f of x. Now remember, we're in college now, so we can't say y anymore. We got to say f of x. Okay? F of x. The car is parked in the yard. And I'm going to make and I don't use red very much. And I'm going to draw a line right here. And I'm going to put H. You could put D if you wanted to for distance, but we're going to use H for those. Okay, so this X is not X, it's X plus H. And somebody tell me what that over there is. F of X plus H, good. So technically, this point right here is X, comma, F of X. Everybody with me? And this point up here is X plus H, comma, what? F of X plus H. Everybody with me?
Yes.
Now, find the slope of that line. You don't have numbers, just plug in the number, just plug in what you need to plug in. So what is slope? M is equal to y sub 2 minus y sub 1, over x sub 2. I'm just having problems today. I don't think I should even try to teach today. Yeah. When the tough get going, quit. X sub 2 minus x sub 1. Which way do we read? So this is x sub 1. This is y sub 1. This is what? X sub 2. This is y sub 2. Everybody with me? Now plug and chug and tell me what you get. Take a minute or two. Plug and chug. Those, instead of x sub 1, y sub 1, x sub 2, well, plug in what you got and see what you get when you get through. Now, everybody should be able to plug in those blue parts. Now, whether you know what to do afterwards, that's to be determined. But everybody should at least be able to plug in those blue letters, variables, whatever. Don't let her in. Don't let her in. Close the door. She's taking advantage. She's coming in whenever she wants to. What is that? Freaking Hope Diamond? Freaking Titanic? They don't throw it off in the Indian Ocean. You ain't never seen Titanic? No. They don't throw it off in the ocean. They gonna die. Is that Japanese cherry blossom? Smells like it. You ever smell Japanese cherry blossom? That stuff smells good. Do y'all know how to talk?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you.
I'm not.
I don't listen to y'all like you.
I'm not a social person.
You're an introvert. You got good tasting hats. All right. So I'm going to plug it in, and this is what we get. F of x is equal to, oh, well, not f of x, sorry, m. Oh, I don't want to. M is equal to f of x plus h minus what? F of x over x plus h minus what? And of course, what happens to the x's?
They cancel.
And somebody tell me, I'm going to write it in Verde, meaning that this is important. M is equal to f of x plus h minus f of x over what? And somebody tell me what that is.
That's different.
Yes, but what is it?
It's the formula. It's
It's just a slope.
that.
That's all it is, it's a slope. Y'all feel impressed yet? Because that's basically what you're doing, you're finding the slope. Now, a lot of people say, well, in the problem, we don't know what the numbers are. That's the trick. You're taking an equation, and you're finding the equation for the slope of that line. Now, I'm going to give you some information. We're going to do this in a real different color, like magenta. So this is for future. Okay? Give you a little bit of insight what you're going to be getting into with calculus. All right, so this magenta stuff is just for your information. The line on the inside of the curve, does anybody know what that line is called? What kind of line that is? Starts with an S. E. C.
Sector.
No, but that's close. Loser. Secant. The secant line. The secant line falls within what? In the curve. Everybody see that it's inside the curve? And the secant line is, believe it or not, in civil engineering, and when you're building a horizontal curve, that's called the chord. Okay, C-O-R-D. And it is very important in civil engineering. Okay? But in math, it's useless. Compared to the most important line, starts with a T.
Tangent.
Tangent line. Why is the tangent line so important? Because the tangent line, if you can find the tangent line of a curve, then you can find the normal vector, which you can find how fast it's going with the first, second derivative. Okay? Now, what does that mean? Think of it like this. Let's say, y'all know, okay, I'm going biblical here, so all you people, snowflakes, get ready to complain. Y'all know the story of David and Goliath, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay? What did David kill Goliath? Well, he didn't kill, he cut his head off. But how did David incapacitate the giant? With a slingshot. And how did that slingshot work? You go round and round and round and round. So that stone is going round and round and round and round along this curve. Right here, this part of the curve is going around. Okay? In order to tell how fast that stone is going at a certain time, you got to have the tangent vector. If you can find the tangent vector, then you can find the normal vector. The normal vector from the center. Everybody with me? If you can find the tangent vector, you can find the normal vector. And that opens up all of your engineering physics applications after calculus. Okay? If you don't know how to find the normal vector on a particle in space, that's what it's called, then you can't do Calc 2, you can't do Calc 3, you can't do physics, you can't do thermodynamics, you can't do statics, you can't do dynamics. It all opens that up. Yes? Yep, you do. If you don't, you're a failure in life. No, I don't know what your major is. I am going along with the assumption that if you take college algebra, some of you are going toward trig calculus. Some of you. Okay? Now, why am I telling you this? Because when you decrease this distance, does everybody agree that this is distance?
Yes.
When you decrease this distance, this secant line comes down and it gets within a hair width of this point right here, and that's called the what line? The tangent line. Okay, so that's how we find, using this formula right here, that's how we find the tangent. And that's going to open up so much stuff. Okay, that's why you have to study the difference quotient or the slope. You have to study that so much in the first unit of calculus. Okay, so for those of you heading toward calculus, make sure you know how to do what we're fixing to do. Now, what does this use? This uses substitution. Okay, the difference quotient is based on substitution, and we've done that. Okay, you've done that back when you did solving systems of equations by substitution. You've done that. So, what does it mean? Well, let's go to it. Let's take our handy-dandy whiteboard, and let me give you f of x. I got to use a curve, okay? Because it doesn't work if you use a straight line, okay? So we're going to do x squared, which is your basic parabola. So it looks, of course, like this. Okay, and if we put 2 points right here, right there, I want to find the equation for the secant line. That's basically what we're doing. All right? I want to find the equation that goes with that line. So, what I do is I take my Verde, and say m is equal to f of x plus h minus f of x over h. Now, let's go back to Algebra 1, or let's go to composition of functions. If I give you f of 2, what does that mean I'm going to do with that 2?
Plug in the X.
Plug it into that, right? If I give you f of star, that means I'm going to plug a star in. I'll get star squared. If I plug in f of circle, okay, that means I'm going to plug in circle squared. If I plug in f of x plus h, that means I'm going to plug in what? Yeah, this one you're not supposed to say anything. You're supposed to just sit there and go. Okay, what are we going to plug in?
X plus
X plus h. Does everybody understand that? Okay, because when I do this, the first question is, why don't you plug in x plus h? So, to reiterate that with animation, I'm going to highlight this because that is what I'm going to plug in. So, I'm going to rewrite f of x, and I'm going to put a big set of what? Parentheses. Because x squared is not always going to be, it's going to be like a trinomial. Okay? So, x squared minus, and I'm going to put a bracket here and a bracket here because I'm plugging in, that's this right here. Everybody with me?
Yeah.
And then this is right here. Now, what is f of x?
X squared.
X squared. And then over h. And now I'm going to plug in x plus h right here. Oh my gosh, shortcut number 1 that you're not going to get away from. Okay, now do the algebra. Because now it's just algebra. And you're getting your first taste of calculus because you do one thing new and then you back it up with 90% algebra. The one new thing that you're learning here is that this cantankerous, complicated looking function is nothing but the what? Starts with S, slope. Now, instead of plugging in numbers, you're going to plug in what? X plus h. Now, of course, shortcut number 1 gives us x squared plus 2xh plus h squared. Now, if you didn't get that, or if you're still on x squared plus xh, 2xh, or is it xh, you're behind. Okay? So, don't raise your hand, don't say anything, but you should be able to say, oh, I know what that is. That's x squared plus 2xh plus h squared. You should be able to say that. Okay? Don't say anything. Don't raise your hand and say, I'm stupid. Don't say that. Okay? Because let me say that. So I'm going to make this a little bit smaller. I thought I was. There we go. You're impressed, aren't you?
Very much.
I'm going to get training one day. All right, so I'm going to erase this. And I'm going to do the algebra.
Yes.
What? Yeah, we are. One day. I say in the next couple of years. When these are obsolete and they put in new ones. We'll get training on these when they put in the new one. X squared plus 2xh plus h squared minus what?
X squared.
Over h. And what happens to the x squareds?
They can't.
Is this going to happen a lot? Yes. The only terms that usually, 80% of the times, the only terms that are going to be left are what terms? H terms. And I'm going to show you what happens with that in that first unit of calculus. I'm going to show you what happens. Okay, so I get 2xh plus h squared over h. Now I can factor out an h in the top and get 2 or h times 2x plus what? H over h. And what happens to the h's? Will that happen a lot? Yes. So the equation for the slope of the line, let's write this down. M is equal to 2x plus h. And let's write that down. That is the equation And it's very important that you understand what this is. That's the equation of the slope of the what line? Secant line. And this gets red. That means it's very important that you understand what that is. I don't want you to say slope. I don't want you to say M. I want you to say it's the equation of the slope of the secant line. Okay, we just found, and this is what we just found. And you can say Y or M is equal to 2x plus h. We just found the equation for that line. Equation for this line. Equation for this line. Any secant line in this function, wherever you put it, will be that right there. Yes, sir.
And you also find by doing the rule where you multiply the numeral on
that is calculus. That's what they're leading up to. And that's what you're going to learn right after you learn this. I'm fixing to show you that. Now, what I'm fixing to show you is going to be a magenta, meaning what? In the future for your information. Okay? So I'm going to go over here, and I'm going to say, and this is where you take limit theory, which is new to you, and algebra, and you put it together. Limit as h approaches 0 of 2x plus h. All right, here is the limit theory, and here is the algebra. Okay, this right here is for your information. Now, let me ask you a question. If I take a half a step toward this wall, or Oconee and Pendleton, if you take a half a step toward the wall, and then after that step, you take half the previous step, and then half the previous step, and half the previous step, will you ever reach the wall? No, you never will. I'll show you. Let's say you got a 4-foot stride. What's half a 4 foot? What's half a 2 foot? What's half a 1 foot? 1/2, a half foot, a fourth, what? 1/8, what? 1/16, what? 1/32. You see? You never will. Now, will you get close to it? You never will. That's the limit theory. The limit theory says when you get closer and closer and closer to something, you never will reach it because you're taking half of the half of the half of the half. Okay? Yes, sir.
So that's like when a function is like
Converging.
x is greater than.
Yeah. You're converging onto something. Okay? Now, what happens when my h goes to this? So my h, here's my h right here. Okay? What happens when my h closes onto this point? It decreases, right? It goes to what? 0. When you put that limit theory with this, what does that h do? Goes out and you're left with 2x. That right here is called the equation of the tangent line. Okay? Hold on a second. That's this line right here. The equation of that tangent line. It's also called, and let's write that down, this is the equation of the slope of the what? The tangent line. And that's important for your information right now. You don't have to do that. This is all where you're heading. Okay? It's also called, in your first unit of calculus, the derivative. And this is very important if you want to put it in your notebook. Okay, now, let me pick a point here. Let's say I pick this point right here. And that's -4. What's the slope of that line, that tangent line right there? -8. Let's plug in this point right here. And let's say this point is +3. What's that slope of that line? 6.
Ooh.
Let's plug in slope at the vertex.
This is so bossed up right
What's that? 0. So what do you plug in? 0. So what's the slope at the vertex of any curve? 0. Okay, you see where this is heading? All right, so is this going to be a test question on your test? Oh, hell to the yeah. It is. It's going to be probably 5 or 6 of these are going to be on your test on Unit 1. So let's get started.
Yes, keep it simple. Let's do one by ourselves.
What?
Can we do one by ourselves?
No. I want you to depend on me, so therefore when you get to the test, you'll fall flat on your face.
Okay.
You don't see how this works? F of x. I'm gonna take one training wheel off. Here we go. X squared minus 1. Now remember, you got to rewrite f of x with parentheses. Use your notes on the previous one.
I gotta remember that.
This thing. Had one yesterday, waffles and maple syrup. Ugh. It smells good. I wish it tasted as good as it smelled. Settle down, Pendleton.
Yeah.
I'm trying to concentrate over here. Life must not mean that much to y'all, but we're trying to mold futures here at Anderson. What? Okay, we're gonna put our handy dandy green formula up here. F of x, yeah. Dang old no off love Spaniel. F of x plus h. Damn it, I did it again. Minus f of x over h. It's m, it's not f of x. So I'm going to put brackets and I'm going to change them to that. I would say Tennessee, but Tennessee's not a college anymore, it's a high school, so we're not going to. I think they got beat by the Citadel. Citadel beat Georgia Tech. Can you believe that? I hope the Citadel don't play Clemson. No, I'm just kidding. That was, if you coached Georgia Tech, do you know what that was? That was an embarrassment. A Division I school, and Citadel's good, they could, but they beat a ACC team. Nobody's gonna say anything. I figure somebody would say something.
Well, they're all back to a new offense. The Georgia Tech teams used to playing an 80s offense.
Yeah, they're still playing that. Yeah, the option. They're still playing it. I don't know what's going to happen. Georgia Tech, was always a thorn in Clemson's side. I don't think they're even a piece of dirt right now. I mean, they just they need to fix something down there. They need to let the Russians take care of it.
The Russians are taking care of South Carolina.
Yeah, that's right. They got to work on South Carolina. All right, so I'm going to put in brackets right here. Okay, I don't know what the heck that is. Let's try that again. Our charger.
South Carolina.
Oh, that's yellow. Okay, somebody tell me how I switch from orange to yellow without even changing colors. It's a conspiracy.
We've gotten into the Epstein thinking.
There we go, and I'm going to put in here, I'm going to put parentheses squared minus 1 minus, the things I do for y'all, minus, there's a way, and I can't find it, I've looked on the internet and everything, emailed Epson, there's a way you can set the two styluses to different colors, but we'll take care of that training.
Okay, sorry.
And I'm going to plug in here. I'm going to plug in, I ain't going to plug in anything. What is f of x? X squared minus 1. All over h. Now, of course, everything should be black inside. So, okay, now everybody should see what I just did. Okay? Whenever we have something in parentheses, we plug that into the what? The equation. I got a big set of parentheses. We've been doing that. F of 2, f of 1/2, f of -3. Whenever you have something in parentheses, you plug that something in. We've got x plus h in parentheses. So that means we're going to plug in x plus h. All right, now that I've set it up for you, because that's the only thing new, the rest of it's all algebra. So finish it. And if you suck at it, you need to take a highlighter out and highlight that x plus h that I plugged in. Any questions, Oconee or Pendleton?
No.
Appreciate one person out of 4 responding.
Yeah.
No, that's enticing.
What is that?
It's a protein bar.
Once you cancel it, then you gotta combine it.
No talking. I'm tough on it.
I'm going for real.
Trying to get you to quit.
I don't know about that.
Now, what is that? Shortcut number 1. I'll give y'all a little hint. Most of the time, it's going to be shortcut number 1 or number 2.
Oh. Good trick one day. Yeah, need training for that.
I figured that out myself. It took me 2 semesters to figure it out.
But you didn't need training.
And that minus goes right here. Minus x squared plus what? If a lot of things don't cancel out, that means what? You're doing something wrong. The x terms by themselves and the numerical terms should cancel out or simplify. So let's take our handy dandy red marker. That should be x squared, sorry. And that's how I knew that should have been x squared, because something has to cancel. So the x squareds cancel, and the 1s cancel. And is that normal? Yes. So now m is equal to 2xh plus h squared divided by h. And what can we do up top? We can factor out of h. Is that normal? Yes. H times 2x plus h over h. And take your red pen, and you're left with f of x. You're learning, or m, sorry, should be f of x. You can't say M sophisticated, so eventually
I am.
you have to call it the difference quotient.
Bam.
Difference quotient. The difference quotient is equal to 2x plus x. Now, what do you notice about this?
Same.
It's the same as the first one. Why? Because the function is the same as the first one, only it has a vertical shift of what? The parent graph is the same, so therefore the derivative is going to be. And see, that's something you need to pick up when you get into first calculus and you say, oh, that's the same because this parent graph is the same, it just has a vertical shift of what? Vertical shift of 1. So it just has down, so it doesn't change the slope of any of the lines. So, I don't want to do that to you. I'm not going to do that to you. I'm not going to give you x cubed. You're not ready for x cubed yet. All right, so anybody got a question? All right, so let's do a nerd. Yeah. For those of you that's not from around here, another one. F of x
Is equal to 2x.
is equal to, thank you, 2x squared plus 4. Okay? Good job. When the tough get going, you quit.
It's gonna change
Yeah, it's going to change. Why is it going to change? Because now the amplitude of the function is being either squished or being stretched or being compressed. Something's happening, so therefore the slope of the line is not going to be the same. Yeah, something like that. Aren't y'all learning so much in here? Yes, ma'am. Yeah, it has to be in the first set of brackets. Okay, 2 big set of brackets squared plus 4. That's going to be in your first set of brackets. Minus, and then brackets 2x squared plus 4. And then do the algebra. And hopefully by the third or fourth time, you'll start to see it. Good. Now, what do you do when you start to see it? You try to put as much space of time in between when you learn it and when you do it again, so therefore you'll fail when you get home. And you won't be able to do it. Okay, while y'all are working, I'm going to go to the handy-dandy, what do you call it, attendance. Got to keep those bureaucrats with their job. Got to keep them happy. Let me go through and do the attendance for my 110 class before they'll get another letter because I forget to do it. You know, taking attendance for a online class is paramount in my priorities. There, I did it. Oh, wasn't that hard? I don't understand why we have to take. It just doesn't make any sense. I guess because we have to escort y'all to the restroom, you know, have a single file line to go to the water fountain. Then we got to have recess. Don't forget recess.
Recess.
Yeah, we got to walk outside. You know, we get to watch y'all play around with the fire ants. Okay, I'm going to go backwards and do Oconee. Okay, that is, how many of y'all got it? I only see 2 of y'all. Andrew, Pendleton.
It's just us two.
Okay, hold on. Mr. Reese and Mr. Dupree?
No, Mr. Reese is not here.
Okay, I get that coming. That's one thing I wish I was good. I wish I was better at names. I suck at names and dates. I walked up to somebody at the Ingalls, and this was a record. It's been 15 years since I had that student, but I could remember I had her because I remember her face. But her name, you forget that. I respect anybody that can remember names because I sure can't. I can remember my name. And I barely, as far as I have to write my kids' birthdays down so I can remember them.
My own birthday one time.
That can be, you stay busy, you do forget. Okay, everybody's good. Everybody's here. So let's go back to the questions. Y'all have had enough time.
Yeah.
So I'm going to spend a lot of time picking out different colors for y'all. So I'm going to rewrite. I'm going to put brackets, minus brackets, f of x plus h minus f of x over h. F of x is just 2x squared plus 4. This is 2 parentheses squared plus 4. And of course we got to plug in x plus h. I'm going to take my highlighter. And the reason I'm doing this highlighter, I'm doing these colors, is because that's the new part that some of y'all are like, duh, that's where y'all mess this up. Right here, right there. Y'all forget, the f of 2s and the f of 3s and the f of 4s. You forget you plug and chug whatever's in those parentheses. You look at this and you go, I don't understand what he's doing. So now we're going to do 2 parentheses. What is that? Shortcut number 1, x squared plus 2xh plus h squared plus 4 minus 2x squared minus what? 4 over h. And of course, your red pen. Oh, I got to distribute, sorry. 2x squared plus 4xh plus 2h squared plus 4 minus 2x squared minus 4 over h. Now take your red pen. The 2x squareds cancel, and the plus 4 and the minus 4 cancels. Now you can skip a step here if you want to, and go ahead and factor out the h in your head. And that's going to give you h parentheses 4x plus 2h over h.
Oh, man.
You can factor out a 2 also.
Oh.
I don't care about that. That's something you can fix at the end. Okay? So, m is equal to 2 times x plus h. 2x plus h. Y'all, just, that's it.
We get it.
You get it?
Yes, sir.
I'm running out of room. I don't need to do it. Okay? Well, let me write it because somebody will get confused. M is equal to 2 times 2x plus h. Now let's do, okay, is 10 minutes over? Is our 10-minute class over with?
Yes,
Okay, now you should be able to finish your 2.6 homework.
yes.
Y'all get out of here, have a good day, and I'll see y'all Wednesday for our second weekly 10-minute class.